Hello, this is Carli from English with Carli. Welcome to the podcast. This is a fun and encouraging space for you to practice English. When learning a language, there's something empowering about being able to order coffee or food for yourself. That is when the person taking your order understands you and you actually get what you want. It may seem simple, but ordering coffee or food in a foreign language can be intimidating for many people, even more advanced language learners. So today, we'll talk a little bit about American coffee culture, which is something I love to talk about, and how to order coffee like a native English speaker. By the end of reading the blog post or listening to this podcast episode, you'll have the confidence and skills to order yourself a good cup of coffee like a native English speaker. So let's get started. In order to help you grow your vocabulary, I will emphasize certain words or phrases throughout this podcast episode. Over on my blog, you can find a written version of this podcast with the emphasized words in bold and in italics. At the very bottom of the post, there is a list of those vocabulary words and phrases with definitions so that you can study them. There you will also find a fill in the blank quiz, or you can listen to the very end of this episode and I will be reading that quiz out to you to take here. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to my weekly newsletter. This is something new that I've put together for you, where I send an email every week with the latest podcast episode, blog post, vocabulary list, quizzes, study materials, and everything you need to take your English from intermediate to advanced or beyond. To sign up, go over to my blog and enter your name and email in the pop-up window. Or you can go to the very bottom of my blog and you will see a section there that says subscribe. And you'll just enter your email and name there and you'll be all set. So before we talk about how to order coffee like a native English speaker, I think it's important to first talk about American coffee culture. In the early 2000s, coffee culture burst onto the scene in the United States with the expansion of Starbucks. Yes, we all know it, right? Coffee had always been popular, but going to a coffee shop to meet up with people and hang out wasn't a widespread concept at the time in most of the United States. People now go to cafes and coffee shops to hang out, read, study, do homework, and even have business meetings sometimes. Though Starbucks is one of the more accessible places to get coffee, there are so many options now. And I would argue that there are two distinct types of coffee shops in the US. American coffee shops and Italian style cafes. In the American style coffee shops, you'll find sugary lattes and drinks similar to Starbucks. And there are usually a lot of flavor options and big sizes available. Yes, those American sizes, we all know them. At the Italian style cafes, they usually have a simpler menu and stick to the basics, as well as having more European or Italian style sizing, nothing too large. So, in terms of available coffees at the Italian style cafes, you'll usually only find things like cappuccino, mocha, espresso, Americano, and sometimes iced coffee. No fancy flavors are usually available at those types of cafes. Now that you've learned about American coffee culture, it's time to talk about how to order coffee like a native English speaker. A general tip I have is to look at the menu online beforehand if possible. Not always possible, but it's nice to try. This will help you get an idea about what they have on their menu, so the different things you can order, what the sizes are, and what they are called. Something I want to note here is that in the United States, Starbucks has some special names for their drinks, not just small, medium, or large. And I'll talk about this in a little bit. At many cafes or coffee shops, you can also always ask the barista to help you and show you the sizes when you order. And this is super helpful, and they are always happy to do this. Sometimes they'll even have the sizes on display in front of where you order. It can also be fun to sit at the cafe or coffee shop and listen to how other people are ordering. Now, this was something I did when I first moved to France, and it was so helpful. I would sit there and listen to the people around me ordering and copy them. And it just made me feel so confident, and like hopefully I sounded like a local person, which I know I didn't. I definitely had a very strong American accent, but the way I ordered, I felt made me seem more knowledgeable of the French language. So that was a really good tip that I have. The general formula for placing an order for coffee in English is as follows. You'll start with your greeting, followed by the subject verb statement, followed by the quantity of the drink, followed by the size, followed by the name of the drink, followed by any add-ons or substitutions. Now we're going to get into, and we'll talk about each one of these one at a time. The greeting. You'll want to start by saying something like hello or hi. Then they may ask, how are you today? And I want to point out that in American culture, think of this as more of a greeting rather than a question. This can be very confusing for people who are visiting the United States for the first time, or it's their first time interacting with an American person. They really aren't asking for details about your day and how you feel. It's really just a greeting most of the time. If they ask, simply say something like, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm all right. You can follow that up by asking them how they are, and then just proceed making your order. So it may sound something like, hello, hi, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? I'm good. And then place your order. The subject verb statement. Some combinations you might use here to make your order are I'd like, could I have, I'll have, or may I have. There are so many different subject verb combinations you can use here, so just pick one that you like and go with it. Something I want to note though is that I did not include can I have on this list of options. Though people do use this when ordering something, many people argue that it is not good practice to use can to ask a question or to order something. This is because this modal verb, can, refers to an ability to do something. So if you use this to order something, many people don't believe it is correct English. And you'll find so many different opinions of this. This is just what I was taught and what makes the most sense to me. And if you have questions about this or would like to talk about this further, please let me know in the comments and I'm happy to do so. The quantity of the drink. If you just want to order one of the drink or coffee, you would say a, or you can also say one. If you want more than one of the drink or coffee, you would say the number. So 2, 3, and so on. Very simple. The name of the drink. Now it's time to let your barista know what it is that you want. So, do you want a cappuccino, a mocha, vanilla latte, frappuccino maybe if you're ordering at Starbucks? And finally, let them know any add-ons or substitutions you would like to make for your order. So, once you've told them the essentials, anything else goes last. For instance, some things you might add on or substitute here would be a specific type of milk, such as whole milk, soy milk, oat milk, almond milk. There are so many different types of milk you can choose from nowadays. Extra shots of espresso, extra or less sugar or sweetener. So, something you might say if you want less sugar or sweetener would be I would like half the amount of sweetener, or if you want more, you could say double the amount of sugar or sweetener. That could be a lot of sugar if you're ordering here in the United States. So just be careful of that. You may also ask for extra or no ice if you're ordering a cold or iced coffee. And then finally, here are some examples of how this formula would work and ways that I order things personally when I get coffee. Hi, may I have a small cappuccino? Or hello, I'd like a grande vanilla latte with soy milk and half the amount of sweetener. So now it is your turn. Try using this formula to practice ordering coffee like a native English speaker and let me know what you want to order in the comments. You've now learned about American coffee culture and the formula on how to order coffee like a native English speaker. After you've had time to review the vocabulary list available over on my blog, please come back here and take this fill in the blank quiz. When you're ready, let's get started. I have 3 fill in the blank sentences for you. I will read each sentence twice, and then I will read it with the correct answer. Number 1, the made me a great cappuccino today. The made me a great cappuccino today. Now with the answer, the barista made me a great cappuccino today. Number 2, I ordered a cup of coffee in English today. It felt so I ordered a cup of coffee in English today. It felt so. Now with the answer. I ordered a cup of coffee in English today. It felt so empowering. Number 3. Coffee is to most people. Coffee is to most people. Now with the answer. Coffee is accessible to most people. How did you do? Did you get these right, or do you think you need to go study the vocabulary a little bit more? Please let me know in the comments. I am really curious to know how you did. That is all for today's episode. I hope you found it helpful and you now feel more confident in ordering coffee like a native English speaker. Please be sure to give this episode a like or thumbs up if you did like it, and be sure to subscribe and sign up to my weekly newsletter so you don't miss out on any new content. I've left instructions on how to do that in the description box. And until the next episode, take care.